Hi there. Welcome. Let's take a deep breath together and begin. We live in a world where challenges are part of the journey. Whether you're working a high-pressure job, juggling responsibilities at home, studying for an exam, or simply trying to figure out what's next in life, one thing is certain: problems will come. But here's the key truth we often forget. How you respond to a problem is more powerful than the problem itself. You see, some people spend hours, days, or even years focusing on what went wrong. They replay it, analyze it, complain about it. But what if, instead of replaying the problem, you focused your energy on finding a solution? That small shift from dwelling to doing changes everything. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where everything seemed to go wrong at once? Deadlines closing in, relationships strained, finances tight, or maybe your health took an unexpected turn. It's in these moments that we have a choice. We can either react emotionally or we can respond intentionally. Reacting feels good for a moment. It's natural to vent or to feel frustrated, but staying there too long keeps you stuck. Responding, on the other hand, means choosing a direction. It means stepping into action, even if that action is small. Let's talk about what this really means, because focus on solutions isn't just a motivational phrase. It's a mindset, a skill, a daily practice. Imagine this. There's a man named Jordan. He runs a small cafe in a busy city. Things had been going well: steady customers, loyal staff, and a routine that worked. Then, one day, the main water pipe outside his shop bursts. The city says it'll take 2 weeks to fix. No water, no cafe. Now Jordan has two choices. He can focus on the problem. This is unfair. I can't run a cafe without water. This will destroy my business. Or he can focus on solutions. Okay, what can I do? Can I offer delivery service only? Can I team up with the coffee shop across the street temporarily? Can I use this time to renovate or promote online? He takes a day to calm his nerves, then gets to work. He calls nearby cafes, partners with one to share their kitchen temporarily. He offers limited menu delivery. He emails loyal customers and explains the situation honestly, even offering a discount for pre-orders. Within a week, Jordan isn't just surviving, he's growing his audience online. When the pipe is fixed, he reopens with more loyal customers than ever. That's the power of solution-based thinking. It doesn't ignore the problem, it acknowledges it, then looks forward. Now, I know not every problem has a clear or easy solution. Sometimes the best solution is to wait, to rest, or to let go of control. But even then, your mindset matters. Your attention is your power. What you focus on grows. Let's do a quick self-check. When a problem shows up in your life, what's your first instinct? Do you complain and overthink? Blame someone? Blame yourself? Procrastinate? There's no shame in any of those. We're all human. But just noticing your patterns can help you shift them. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," try, "What's one small step I can take today?" Instead of, "I don't know what to do," try, "Who can I ask for help?" Instead of, "Everything's falling apart," try, "What part of this can I control?" Let me share another story. This one's about a student named Lila. Lila was preparing for her final exams. She'd been working hard all semester, but a week before the exam, her father was hospitalized. Her focus shattered. Her emotions took over. She was overwhelmed with guilt for even thinking about school while her father was sick. She considered giving up entirely. But one of her professors gave her a piece of advice that changed everything. Don't try to solve the whole mountain at once. Just clear the next step. So Lila took out a sheet of paper and wrote down every subject she had to review. Then she picked one chapter, just one, and studied it while sitting by her father's bedside. The next day, she did the same. Little by little, she found balance. And even though she didn't feel ready, she took the exam and passed. Not because she had perfect circumstances, but because she chose to focus not on the chaos, but on what was still possible. That's what solution-focused thinking does. It brings you back to the present moment. It reminds you you're not powerless. So let's go deeper. How can you train your brain to become more solution-focused every day? Here are 3 practices you can try starting today. 1. Start your day with one clear goal, not 10, just one. It can be small, like writing an email, finishing a workout, or calling someone back. Accomplishing it gives you momentum. 2. Ask better questions. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Or what can I do about it? 3. Surround yourself with solution-minded people. People who don't just complain, but who take action. Their energy will influence you more than you know. And here's something powerful. Solutions don't always come instantly. Sometimes the answer is to pause, to breathe, to let clarity rise slowly. Some problems are solved with action. Some are solved with time. Some are solved with letting go. But in all cases, focusing on the problem only feeds fear. Focusing on the solution, or even the possibility of one, feeds hope. Now let's talk about something many people struggle with when they face a problem, the fear of making the wrong decision. You see, sometimes people stay stuck not because they don't have options, but because they're afraid to choose the wrong one. They fear regret, they fear judgment, they fear wasting time or energy, and so they freeze. But the truth is, inaction is still a choice. Doing nothing is also a decision, and often the one that hurts us the most. Let's imagine a young man named Raphael. He had 2 job offers. One paid more but required relocating to a city where he knew no one. The other paid less but allowed him to stay near his family. He thought about it for days, then weeks. Then the opportunity passed. Both companies moved on. He later said the worst part wasn't losing the jobs, it was the frustration he felt toward himself for not choosing at all. Here's something worth remembering. A good decision made in time is better than a perfect decision made too late. We often wait for the perfect conditions, more clarity, more time, more courage before we move. But solutions aren't always clear in the beginning. You discover them as you walk the path, not before you take the first step. And sometimes, the very act of choosing brings clarity. You make a move, you see the result, you adjust. That's how progress is made, not by knowing everything in advance, but by being willing to adapt as you go. Another challenge people face is perfectionism. It's sneaky. It wears a mask that says, I'm just trying to do my best. But in reality, perfectionism often prevents progress altogether. Picture someone named May. She wants to launch her handmade jewelry online. She has beautiful pieces, a name for her brand, and a growing following. But she keeps delaying. Why? She tells herself, it's not ready yet. The website isn't perfect. I need better photos. Weeks go by, then months. Her confidence drops, the dream fades. What May didn't realize was this. Done is better than perfect. Launched is better than imagined. The first version doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to exist. Once it exists, you can improve it, refine it, grow it. That's how most solutions are born, through iteration, not inspiration. You try, you learn, and you try again. Now let's turn to something deeper. Sometimes the problem we face is internal. It's not the job, the traffic, the delay, or the broken plan. Sometimes the problem is self-doubt. That tiny voice in your head that says, you're not good enough. You always mess things up. No one will listen to you. Why even try? If you've heard that voice, and we all have, I want you to know this. That voice is not truth. It's fear dressed up as logic. Fear doesn't want you to fail, but it also doesn't want you to grow. It wants you to stay the same because that feels safer. But here's the thing. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Solutions don't appear when we're standing still. We have to take a step, even if we're scared, even if our hands shake. You might fail, yes, but you might fly, and you'll never know unless you try. So when self-doubt shows up, don't fight it. Just notice it. Say to it, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm choosing to move forward anyway. That's the voice of a solution seeker. That's the voice of someone who's building inner strength. Let's pause for a moment. Take a breath in and exhale slowly. Right now, think of something that's been bothering you lately. Maybe it's a situation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a decision you've been putting off, or a habit you want to change but haven't started. Just bring that to your mind gently, no judgment. Now ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do about this? Not everything, not the whole fix, just one small move. That's how momentum begins, not with massive change, but with micro steps taken consistently. Here's another truth I'd like to share. The problem is loud, but the solution is often quiet. It's easy to focus on what's loud, what's obvious, what's urgent, but real answers sometimes require silence. They come when you disconnect, slow down, and listen, not just to the world around you, but to your inner wisdom. Take time to be still. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit in the sunlight for 5 minutes and just breathe. Write in a journal. Ask yourself questions without demanding instant answers. This isn't about being passive. It's about making space where clarity can speak. Some problems don't need force. They need perspective. And that perspective only comes when we stop trying to fix everything with speed and start approaching it with presence. Let's explore another powerful idea. Sometimes the problem isn't what's happening, it's how we're seeing it. Our perspective shapes our experience. Two people can face the same challenge and walk away with completely different outcomes, not because the problem was different, but because their lens was different. Imagine two coworkers, Emily and Sarah. They both receive critical feedback from their manager after giving a team presentation. Emily takes it personally. She tells herself she's not good at public speaking. She replays the manager's comments in her head, thinking, "I embarrassed myself." She starts avoiding opportunities to speak again, afraid of failing once more. Sarah, on the other hand, hears the same feedback and thinks, "Okay, that part didn't land well, but now I know what to improve." She watches videos on presentation skills, practices with friends, and volunteers to present at the next meeting. Same situation, same challenge, different mindset, different result. That's the power of shifting from problem focus to growth focus. We can't always change what happens, but we can always change how we interpret it and how we respond. Now, let's talk about the importance of language, because the words you use, even in your own thoughts, have real power. When a problem shows up, notice how you talk about it. Do you say, "I'm stuck," or "I'm figuring it out"? "This is a disaster," or "This is a challenge I can learn from"? Even changing one word can shift your mood. Instead of, "I have to fix this," try, "I get to find a way through this." Language creates energy. Energy fuels action, and action leads to change. So the next time something unexpected happens, try using softer, solution-oriented phrases like, "This isn't ideal, but I can handle it." "It's not what I planned, but I'm adaptable." Let's get creative. There's always a way, even if I can't see it yet. These aren't just cute phrases. They're anchors that help you stay calm, open, and grounded, which is exactly the state you need to be in to solve problems well. Here's a gentle reminder. Not every problem needs to be solved immediately. Some problems are heavy, some are unclear, some are deeply emotional. And in those cases, the best solution may be to give yourself permission to pause. Think of burnout. Many people push themselves through stress, pressure, and exhaustion, thinking that solving the external problem is the only way forward. But sometimes the real solution is internal. Rest, recovery, saying no, asking for help, setting boundaries. It's okay to step back. Stepping back isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When you're rested, you make better decisions. When you're centered, you see new options. When you're calm, you respond instead of react. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, maybe your next step isn't to fix everything. Maybe it's to take care of yourself so you can come back stronger and clearer. Let me share another story. This one is about a woman named Nora. Nora had always been the dependable one in her family, the one who organized everything, who remembered birthdays, who helped solve everyone's crisis. But after years of putting others first, she found herself exhausted and bitter. She started snapping at loved ones, she stopped enjoying her work, she felt resentful, but didn't know why. One day, during a quiet morning walk, something clicked. She realized the problem wasn't just the demands placed on her, it was the fact that she never allowed herself to set limits. She thought being helpful meant saying yes to everything. Her solution? She began practicing something simple but powerful. Pause before saying yes, even just for 5 seconds. That pause gave her room to reflect. Is this really mine to carry? Do I have the energy for this right now? Am I saying yes out of guilt or out of love? With time, Nora learned to say no with grace. And ironically, by setting boundaries, she was able to show up for others in a more loving, intentional way. Her energy returned, her relationships improved, and she started living in alignment with her values. Now I want to speak directly to you. Yes, you. Whatever problem you're facing today, big or small, I want to remind you you're stronger than you think. You've solved problems before, you'll do it again. But this time, you don't need to do it with panic or pressure. You can do it with patience, with intention, with clarity. Start by asking simple questions. What matters most right now? What do I already know? What can I try, even if it's just an experiment? And remember this truth. Solutions often come through action, not overthinking. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready. Take a small step. Test an idea. Make a move. Even a tiny step forward changes your state. It turns your energy from stuck to moving. And when you move, solutions begin to meet you. Let's shift gears and talk about problem solving in relationships. Relationships, whether romantic, professional, or between friends and family, are often the source of our most complex challenges. Why? Because they involve emotions, expectations, and deeply personal histories. When conflict arises, it's tempting to focus on who's right and who's wrong. We rehearse arguments in our heads, we gather evidence for our case, like lawyers preparing for trial. But in most cases, the real question isn't who's right. The better question is, what do we want this relationship to become? That question pulls us out of ego and into purpose. Let's imagine two coworkers, Jason and Priya. They've been working together for months, but tension has been growing. Jason thinks Priya is too slow and indecisive. Priya feels Jason is pushy and dismissive. Instead of sitting down to resolve the issue, they both complain about each other behind closed doors. Meetings become cold, emails turn passive-aggressive, productivity suffers, and so does their peace of mind. Now imagine a different version of the story. One day, Priya walks up to Jason and says, "Hey, I know we have different styles, but I want this project and our partnership to succeed. Can we talk about how we can support each other better?" That single sentence reframes the whole situation. It focuses not on the problem, but on the shared goal. That's what solution-focused communication looks like. It starts with curiosity, not blame, with intention, not accusation. So if you're facing a relationship challenge right now, try this. Speak from observation, not interpretation. Instead of, "You never listen," say, "When I spoke yesterday, I noticed you were on your phone." Speak from your needs, not your judgments. "I feel unheard" is very different from "you don't care." Focus on what's next, not just what went wrong. "Can we agree on how to move forward?" is far more powerful than "let's talk about everything you did wrong." This kind of language isn't just polite, it's productive. It invites collaboration instead of conflict. And that's what solution seekers do. They build bridges, even when it's hard. Now, let's look at something you might not expect in a discussion about solving problems: creativity. You see, many problems can't be solved with logic alone. They require imagination. They require us to think differently, to step outside the usual patterns. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history, in science, business, art, didn't come from rigid rules. They came from people willing to ask, "What if?" So when you're stuck, try playing with your problem like a puzzle. Ask unusual questions, flip it upside down, zoom out. Here are some prompts that can unlock creative thinking. What if I had unlimited time or budget? What would I do? What would a 5-year-old suggest? What's the opposite of the obvious solution? If I had to solve this without saying a word, how would I do it? These questions aren't meant to be practical, they're meant to get your brain unstuck. Because often, the solution isn't far away, it's just hidden behind mental habits. And remember, creativity loves constraints. Sometimes when you limit yourself, say to only 2 options or to a 1-day deadline, your brain becomes more inventive. So don't just ask, what can I fix? Also ask, what can I invent? There's something else I want to bring into this conversation, something quiet, powerful, and often overlooked. It's the power of faith. I don't mean religious faith necessarily. I mean the deep belief that even when you don't see the solution yet, one exists. Even when you feel lost, a way forward is still possible. Sometimes, faith is the bridge between confusion and clarity. It holds you when everything feels uncertain. It whispers, keep going, even when your mind says, give up. There's a phrase I love. Solutions are sometimes waiting at the edge of persistence. Just beyond the point where most people quit, that's where breakthroughs often live. So if you're tired, keep going. If you're unsure, keep listening. If you're doubting, keep moving, even slowly. Progress is not about speed, it's about direction. And when you walk in the direction of hope, step by step, breath by breath, life responds. Answers come, clarity appears. Not all at once, but enough to keep you going. Let's go deeper into the kinds of questions we ask ourselves during difficult moments. Because when a problem arises, your first instinct might be to ask, why is this happening to me? And while that question feels natural, it rarely leads to solutions. Let's be honest, sometimes why keeps us spinning. Why now? Why me? Why them? Why again? But real movement comes from better questions. Not questions that dwell, but questions that direct. Try asking these instead. What is this moment asking of me? What can I control right now? What lesson is hidden inside this challenge? What would the wisest version of me do next? These questions gently pull you out of emotional reactivity and into purposeful response. They remind you, you're not just a victim of your circumstances. You are a creator, a designer of your mindset, your effort, your energy. Even if the situation is hard, even if it's unfair, you still get to choose how you show up in it. And that choice, repeated daily, becomes a habit. That habit becomes your resilience. Speaking of resilience, let's spend some time on that word. Resilience doesn't mean you never break. It means you learn how to bend. It means you fall and rise. It means the problem doesn't define you, it refines you. So how do we build resilience in the face of repeated problems, stress, or even failure? Here are a few ways. 1. Normalize setbacks. Problems are not proof that you're failing. They're proof that you're living. Everyone faces difficulties. You're not alone. You're not broken. 2. Keep a solution journal. Every time you solve a challenge, no matter how small, write it down. Over time, you'll have pages of evidence that you can handle hard things. 3. Celebrate small wins. Not just the outcome, but the effort. The moment you took action, the time you stayed calm, the choice to speak kindly when angry. 4. Reframe failure as data. Every mistake teaches you something. Every no brings you closer to a more aligned yes. 5. Talk to yourself like someone you love. When things go wrong, don't criticize yourself. Encourage, guide, soothe. Be your own coach, not your worst enemy. Now, let's talk about a powerful shift, learning from past problems without being trapped by them. It's easy to look back at a difficult moment and say, I should have done this. I can't believe I let that happen. I failed. But that kind of backward blame is heavy. It drains you. It keeps you stuck in guilt instead of growing from the experience. What if instead you said, yes, that was hard. Yes, I wish I'd done things differently. But now I know more, and I'm going to use that knowledge to move forward stronger, wiser, more aware. That's how you redeem your past. You don't rewrite what happened, you repurpose it. You say, this experience has value because I'm turning it into growth. You take the pieces of what broke you and use them to build the version of yourself that no longer runs from challenges. Let me pause and say this. There is no such thing as a perfect life. There is no magical future where everything is easy, smooth, and problem-free. But there is a version of your life where you become so skilled at facing problems, so strong in your mindset, so wise in your approach, that no problem can undo your peace. That kind of life isn't created by avoiding struggle. It's built by meeting struggle with solutions, with patience, with perspective, with power. As we begin to wrap up, I want to remind you of a few truths. 1. Problems are not the enemy. They're invitations to grow, shift, think, adapt, and awaken. 2. Solutions don't always show up as answers. Sometimes they show up as a new question, a new habit, or a new friend. 3. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to take the next honest step. And finally, you are more capable than you realize. You faced hard things before, and you're still here, stronger, smarter, still standing. So whatever you're facing now, don't panic, don't run, don't drown in it. Breathe, center yourself, and ask the question that begins every breakthrough. What's one thing I can do right now to move forward? That question is simple, but it's powerful. It's how change begins. Before we end today's journey, I want to leave you with this. There will be days when the world feels heavy, when nothing seems to work, when plans fall apart, when emotions run high and answers feel far away. On those days, please remember, you are not the problem. You are the problem solver. You are the steady hands in the middle of the storm. You are the breath that returns when panic rises. You are the quiet strength that whispers, I can handle this even if I don't know how yet. You see, problems aren't personal attacks. They're part of the human curriculum. They arrive to stretch us, sharpen us, soften us. They teach us things we didn't know we needed to learn. Patience, resilience, creativity, compassion, forgiveness, humility, strength, and most of all, they teach us to return to ourselves, to trust the quiet voice within, the one that says, even this has purpose. Even now, I have power. Even here, there's a way forward. You are not powerless. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, learning what you need to learn, becoming who you're meant to become. So don't wait for the road to be smooth. Walk forward anyway. One breath, one step, one choice at a time. And as you go, ask this simple question again and again. How can I focus on the solution right now, even if it's just in thought, energy, or intention? Sometimes the answer will come quickly. Other times it may take days, weeks, or more. But what matters is that you're facing forward with faith, with presence, and with heart. So, take the problem, hold it gently, ask it what it came to teach you, then let that answer guide your next move. You are a builder, a creator, a navigator of storms, and you are not alone. We're all walking this road, each of us facing challenges that aren't visible on the outside. But together, we grow stronger. Together, we rise. And together, we remember that problems are not the end. They are the beginning of something new, something wiser, and something more aligned with who we truly are. Thank you for spending this time with me. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're facing, I hope you remember this. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are in progress. You are in motion. And the solution, even if it's still unfolding, is already taking shape inside you. keep going. You're doing better than you think, and you've got this. Take care, be kind to yourself, and I'll speak with you again very soon.